Hello world! Has it been too darn long since your last Foundation Fest video? Can you not wait for the next one? Well, I've got a new series for you. It is Friday Foundation Fix. Get your fix in between Foundation Fests, and today we're going to kick it off with a foundation from Philosophy called Hope in a Jar. Hey everybody, Shelly here, and today I've got the kickoff to a new series, Friday Foundation Fix. You can get your fix of foundation reviews in between the regular Foundation Fest videos. So today we're going to kick it off with a foundation from Philosophy. This is called Hope in a Jar. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that names like this drive me nuts. The IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Cream is one of my favorite creams in the world, but I cannot stand the name. I don't need hope in a freaking jar. I've got all the hope I need. Like, don't give it to me in a jar. Plus, if this is only hope in a jar, I want, like, guarantees in a jar. But anyway, let's get off the whole naming thing. Just a pet peeve of mine. I thought I would get that off my chest. I feel better now. So this foundation, you get 1 fluid ounce of product for $39 retail. And let's see what some of the claims of this foundation are. I am on Ulta's website right now. It says, experience the benefits, blah, blah, blah. SPF 20, light as air formula, smooths, refines, and restores hydration while providing natural-looking light to medium coverage. Skin appears brighter and energized, not dull and lackluster, even after you take it off. It's like your skin, only better. Lightweight texture, smooths and refines the look of pores, provides a healthy look and glow. So that is what we've got going on. The packaging itself is a little bit disappointing in the sense that it's a plastic jar. It's not a glass jar, and that's kind of like womp womp. But it does have a pump, so that is nice. It's not unattractive packaging. It looks nice next to my other foundations on the wall, but it's just plastic, and that feels a little bit cheap to me. And for a $39 foundation, I would really love to have a glass jar, but that's okay. What really matters is what's inside. So I have got this in the shade number 3, which they describe as Fair Light. And this foundation comes in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades, which is not an extensive color range. It does look like it goes fairly deep on the spectrum and fairly light on the spectrum. This is, at least as far as I can tell, the lightest shade that they've got. And I would say if you are lighter than me, this is going to be too dark for you. But it seems so far to be a pretty good match for me. And that is the deal with the shades that it comes in. So what we're going to do in this video, I will give you an application demo. We'll see how it goes on, zoom you in, let you see how it looks up close on my imperfect 42-year-old skin. Then I'll come back with a natural light check-in later in the day, and at the end of the night, I will give you my conclusions and we'll see how it held up. So that's the plan. If you want to see how the Philosophy Hope in a Jar foundation works out, just keep on watching. Let's take a look at some swatches. So first up is today's foundation, the Philosophy Hope in a Jar. Next, we have the Josie Maran Argan Oil, the Vibrancy Foundation in shade RG10 Supernatural. Third is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation in shade 2 Fair. Fourth up, I've got the Too Faced Born This Way Foundation in the shade Snow. And last, even though we're not in the same price range, I've got the Rimmel Lasting Finish in shade 091 Light Ivory. You can tell the Rimmel and the Philosophy are both pink-based or cool-toned foundations, which definitely are a good match for me. The other 3 are a bit more yellow than I like. They're a little warmer toned than I like to go with, but the Philosophy and the Rimmel, I think, are very similar color matches. Alright, let's see what we got here. I'm going to do 2 pumps on my palette as per usual. Kind of liquidy, so it's a pretty, not super runny, but it's on the runny side. In terms of consistency, as usual, we are going to go in one side with a brush. This time I'm going to use the Lagour brush. If you missed my video comparing this to the Artis Oval 7, I will link it down below. Check it out. And on the other side, I'm going to use my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge with tooth marks for extra coverage. I have already cleansed, moisturized, serumized, SPF-ized, and primed my face with the Urban Decay Urban Defense primer, which I am enjoying thoroughly. So let's do this thing. I'm going to start out with the sponge on this side. I'd say we're at a decent light coverage with the sponge. This is the side of my face that has fewer freckles and things, and I can still see a little bit of them poking out, and they're not very hard to cover, so I'm going to say we are about a good light coverage. It is covering redness. If you look at the redness around my nose and on my cheeks compared to the other side, it is covering redness pretty well. I don't have severe redness, but I've got enough that I like to wear foundation every day. So let's check out the other side. I'm going to dab this. I'm still on my first two pumps. I'm going to dab this on with my finger, even though that kind of defeats the purpose of the palette, but I don't like dipping my sponge directly into like a blob of foundation because I don't want it to get all, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Okay, I would say with the brush we are still in light but slightly better coverage. I'm going to go in with like one more pump and see if we can build this up just a little bit more. I think this coverage right here would be great if you are looking for, you know, a nice light even coverage for the day, but I'm going to go just a little more and see if we can camouflage some of these little freckles here. I'm calling them freckles. They're really sunspots. This built up nicely. I think you really can use either the brush or a beauty blender. I don't really see much of a difference on either side in terms of application. I think it went on equally well both ways. Of course, if you have dry skin, you want to make sure that you have exfoliated your skin either this morning or the night before recently, because using a brush to apply foundation can do some micro exfoliation and give you little flakes of skin coming up when you use the brush on your face, whereas the beauty blender doesn't tend to do that if you bounce it instead of rub it. So right now I think this is looking nice. Let me zoom you guys in and show you what we've got going on. I don't see any settling into my lines. It's doing a little bit of pore blurring. My nose looks not porous. My cheeks, this cheek is looking better than this one, but I think that has been a trend recently. I don't know if it's camouflaging my pores as much as it just is sort of smoothing everything out. I can still see pores. I can still see a little bit of skin texture, but everything is looking nice, and I wouldn't call this dewy, but I would say it's got a very natural sheen to it. Sheen isn't the right word either, but this is not matte. But I don't like dewy, and this is not dewy. I'm not seeing like reflection of shine. I just feel like my skin looks hydrated. It looks healthy. I don't know. Let me zoom you guys in. You can figure it out. Now let's get the nose in here. I would say this is not clinging to my dry patches. I have a really pretty significant dry patch up here, which, you know, I did a little, one of those exfoliating masks, and it really took some of my dry skin and it went, rah! And so that I can barely see, quite honestly. If it was clinging to, it's not even clinging to the edges of where I know there's flaky skin right there. So it's almost invisible, which I would say that is impressive. Right off the bat, this feels like a hydrating, sort of moisturizing type of foundation. We'll see if that lasts throughout the day. Let me go put the rest of my face on, and what is the check-in time? Alexa, what time is it?
It's 11 a.m.
It's 11 a.m. for the check-in time. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Everything went on just fine. No surprises. On my face today, got the usual, my L'Oreal GlamBronze bronzer, limited edition from summer 16. My new crush, the vintage highlighter, especially the pink one. This came in my last BoxyCharm. I will link the unboxing below. You can see the try-on. I am loving it. I'm wearing the Revlon Rosy Rendezvous blush today. And on my eyes, shocker, NYX Ultimate Cool Neutrals. Okay, so I just have to explain. I have fallen in love with a color. Second row, second color. So the one right under my finger here. I have not used it all this time that I've had this palette. It just looked like gray. And then one day I decided to swatch it and OMG. It's like a gray with a reddish bronzish shift. And it's so freaking pretty. And that's what I've got on my lids today. Loving that color. It has really made me obsessed with this palette all over again. And I'm trying out the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara for the first time. So that is what I'm wearing today. The foundation looks great. It has not settled into any lines whatsoever. It just, I think it's a good color match for me. It feels like almost nothing. I feel like I'm barely wearing, I mean, really moisturizing, soft, hydrating, surprising. I'm liking it so far. Do you guys ever have the conversation with yourself while you're applying eyeliner and you're like, all right, today we're going to go conservative, thin line with the liner. You can do this. You got this. You control the liner. The liner does not control you. Remember that. You got this. It's totally me when I'm putting on my eyeliner. And I succeeded today. I didn't go any crazier than originally intended. So, check-in time is officially 11 o'clock. I will check in later on with a daylight check-in to see how this looks in natural light. And I'll come back at the end of the night and give you my overall thoughts, and we'll see how it's doing. I'll zoom you in, all that good stuff. So, hang in there. I will be right back in a bit. Hello, everybody. Daylight is fading quickly, but here we go with a daylight check-in. The foundation is looking lovely, I would say. It is a little after 5 p.m., so we're at about the 6-hour mark, I think. And here's where we're at. So this is it. Whew, it's chilly. I'm gonna go back inside. I will check back in tonight. And we're back. It is 9:18 p.m. That means we are a quarter past the 10-hour mark with this foundation, and I'm impressed. So let me just go with the most impressive part of this foundation for me, and that is how it feels. It still feels like I'm not even wearing makeup. It is so lightweight. It dried down so nicely. I don't feel anything on my face. And for this many hours later, I don't feel dry at all. Looking overall, I don't look shiny. I don't look oily. I don't look dry. I don't look parched. My skin looks really nice. Now, I will say, one of the interesting things I found about this foundation, I've worn it a couple times to work last week, and two different people, completely different people that don't even know each other, commented on my skin last week. And one of them, I had cut my hair and then I had dyed it a different color. So, one of my friends had saying, something's different about you. Something's different. And I'm like, yeah, I cut my hair and I dyed it a different color. And she just kept, all week, she said, no, something else, something's different. And at the end of the week, she said, I figured it out. It's your skin. Your skin looks glowy. It looks beautiful. And it was the days I was wearing this foundation that she would comment. And a second person said exactly the same thing. Wow, your skin looks really great. And that's not a normal thing for me to hear. So it was a normal thing 10 years ago. I really don't hear it anymore, which is a sign of terrible things. But I think it was a good sign. So that's really one of the things that made me think I want to put this to an actual wear test and get this on my face and wear it all day long and see what we get. And on the downside, it is breaking down on my nose. Now, when I zoom you guys in, you'll see it actually looks like I intentionally rubbed my nose off, and that might have happened. I'm a little bit sniffly in the evening right now, and I might have actually rubbed my nose. It could have happened. My nose is showing a little redness around the nostrils. I have not blown my nose, so it does look like it probably is breaking down on my nose. It's wearing off just a little bit off my chin, but at a conversational distance, it's not noticeable. You will see the nose pads. I was wearing my reading glasses earlier. Yes, I finally bought reading glasses, and yes, when my eyes are tired at night, they actually help, and I'm still in denial, but I was wearing my reading glasses so I could read my phone earlier in the evening, and so you can see where it wore off on my nose pads. My forehead looks just fine. This did not settle into my lines. It did not settle into my pores. It hasn't moved. It doesn't look different than this morning, other than wearing around on my nose, wearing off my nose, and the tiniest bit you'll see it is starting to wear away on my chin. I have eaten a couple meals throughout the day, so that's not completely unexpected. So let me zoom you guys in and show you what we got and see what you think. It's still looking pretty good, right? I never in a million years would have even picked up this foundation. I'll tell you why I did. It was one of those platinum perks when Ulta emails you daily and gives you these like 50% off deals on one or two items per day on these platinum perks. And I purchased this at half off regular price, so it was 20 bucks. Holy cow, I would pay full price for this. If I had to give Philosophy Hope in a Jar a grade, it's an A. It feels wonderful. If you don't need any more than medium coverage, I think it's just fine. It's not drying at all, and I don't think it's overly dewy. So I think if you have oily skin, you're not going to have too much of a problem with this either, because it's not a super slick, dewy foundation. It is just a hydrating, sort of natural sheen foundation. There's no real drying matte finish. There's no real moist wet. Oh, I know some people hate that word. I'm sorry. There's no real like dewy, shiny finish. It just is really, really nice. And I think it wore really well for a 10-hour foundation, 11-hour foundation. We're approaching the 11th hour here. For something that's not designed as super long wear, I think this is a fantastic wear time. You can definitely get a solid work day out of this without even thinking twice. I didn't touch up. I did not do anything. I think I forgot to mention that I had set this originally this morning with my Laura Geller Double Take Baked powder in Fair, but I'm happy. I give this an A. This might be my new favorite foundation. It does everything I want. It is a cool undertone foundation. The shade is light enough for me. This shade is going to be a little too dark if you are any lighter than I am. I am pretty fair, but I'm not very fair. I'm not light, but I'm the dark side of fair, if that makes any sense. So there you have it. I am pretty stoked about this foundation. I'm glad to have it in my arsenal. I am going to continue wearing it. I love it. I love it. So I hope you have found this helpful. If so, give me a thumbs up. If you're glad that I have started a Foundation Fix Friday to get us through those times in between our Foundation Fest series, give me another thumbs up. I know you can only give me one. Well, give me a thumbs up and I'll be happy, and I will know that you are happy that we are going to continue doing foundation reviews on the regular. Maybe not every week, maybe every other week, but we're going to throw some in there so that you don't have to wait too long in between foundation fests. So if you have a foundation on your list, drop them down below. I have been gathering names of foundations from all of the comments you guys have been leaving on my Foundation Fest videos. Please continue to do that, or you can leave them here. You can leave them anywhere. I do read every single comment, and I will add them to the list, and hopefully we will see them either in a Foundation Fix or a Foundation Fest, and that will happen. Thanks a lot, guys, for stopping by, hanging out, geeking out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time and your attention, and I hope you have an awesome day or night wherever you are out in the world. So thanks again, and take care of each other. Bye-bye.